California looks like the land of Hollywood dreams and endless sunshine. But what I'm about to reveal will shatter everything you thought you knew about the Golden State. By fact number 50, you'll realize California isn't just strange, it's downright otherworldly in ways that will leave you questioning reality itself. I'm going to share 50 mind-blowing facts about California that most people have never heard. These aren't your typical tourist brochure highlights. We're diving deep into the bizarre, the shocking, and the absolutely unbelievable. The wildest revelations are saved for the end, so stick around because what's coming will blow your mind. 50. California produces more food than most entire countries. The Golden State grows over 400 different crops and supplies nearly half of all fruits, vegetables, and nuts consumed in America. If California were its own nation, it would rank as the 5th largest agricultural producer on Earth. Drive through the Central Valley and you'll see an agricultural empire that feeds millions worldwide. It's not just Hollywood feeding dreams, it's California feeding the world. 49. There's a town that disappears underwater every year. The community of Millerton gets completely submerged beneath Millerton Lake during high water seasons. Residents have adapted to this bizarre cycle, with some homes built on stilts and others designed to be temporarily abandoned. Local resident Jake Morrison says his family has been dealing with their vanishing hometown for 3 generations. It's like living in Atlantis, but on a schedule. 48. Death Valley holds the world record for hottest air temperature. On July 10, 1913, the mercury hit 134 degrees Fahrenheit in Death Valley, a record that still stands today. But here's the truly unsettling part. Ground temperatures have been measured at over 200 degrees, hot enough to literally cook an egg on the pavement. Park rangers warn that people have died simply from stepping outside unprepared. 47. California has more people than all of Canada. With nearly 40 million residents, California's population exceeds that of entire countries like Canada, Australia, and Poland. If California were an independent nation, it would be the 36th most populous country on Earth. The Los Angeles metropolitan area alone has more people than 46 entire U.S. states. It's not just a state, it's practically its own country. 46. The San Andreas Fault is preparing for the big one. Scientists predict a massive earthquake along the San Andreas Fault could happen any day, potentially registering 8.0 or higher on the Richter scale. The fault stretches over 800 miles through California, and geological pressure has been building for decades. Seismologists warn that when it finally releases, it could reshape the California coastline permanently. 45. There's a forest of trees older than Jesus Christ. The ancient bristlecone pine forest in the White Mountains contains trees over 4,000 years old. These gnarled, weathered survivors have witnessed the entire span of human recorded history. Some were already ancient when the Egyptian pyramids were built. Standing among them feels like touching eternity itself, a humbling reminder of how brief human existence really is. If earthquake predictions in ancient forests aren't enough to make you want to stay informed about what's really happening in our world, then you're living dangerously unprepared. Subscribe now so you're not caught off guard by the shocking realities most people never see coming. And if you're deliberately choosing to stay unsubscribed, tell me in the comments what's holding you back. 44. California's economy would rank 5th in the world. If California were an independent country, its economy would be larger than the United Kingdom's. The state generates over $3 trillion in annual economic activity powered by technology, entertainment, agriculture, and tourism. It's essentially an economic superpower masquerading as a single state. This economic might gives California political influence that rivals entire nations. 43. The Salton Sea is California's toxic mistake. Created by accident in 1905 when the Colorado River breached its banks, the Salton Sea has become an environmental disaster. The lake is now more toxic than the ocean, filled with agricultural runoff and dying fish. The smell can be detected from miles away, and the surrounding area looks like a post-apocalyptic wasteland. It's a reminder that even paradise can turn poisonous. 42. Yosemite's firefall looks like lava pouring from heaven. Every February, if conditions are perfect, Horsetail Fall in Yosemite appears to be on fire. Sunlight hitting the waterfall at precisely the right angle creates an optical illusion that looks like molten lava cascading down the granite cliff. Photographers travel from around the world hoping to capture this supernatural spectacle that lasts only minutes. 41. California has a city that banned the sale of cats and dogs. West Hollywood became the first city in America to prohibit pet stores from selling cats and dogs, requiring them to feature only rescue animals instead. The law was designed to combat puppy mills and kitten factories. This progressive move sparked a nationwide conversation about animal welfare and ethical pet ownership. 40. There's a highway that drivers literally cannot see. State Route 130 through Death Valley includes sections where heat mirages are so intense that the road appears to vanish completely. Drivers report feeling like they're floating through space as the asphalt seems to disappear beneath their wheels. The optical illusions are so severe that some people refuse to drive the route alone. 39. California's Central Valley is sinking at an alarming rate. Due to excessive groundwater pumping, parts of the Central Valley have sunk over 30 feet in the past century. The land continues dropping several inches each year, damaging infrastructure and threatening the region's agricultural future. Scientists warn this subsidence is essentially irreversible, creating a slow-motion disaster. 38. Hollywood was founded by prohibition advocates. The early film industry moved to Hollywood partially because the area was founded by temperance advocates who banned alcohol. Ironically, this conservative religious community became the birthplace of an industry now synonymous with excess and indulgence. The transformation from pious farming community to entertainment capital represents one of history's greatest ironies. 37. Lake Tahoe contains enough water to flood all of California. This pristine alpine lake holds approximately 39 trillion gallons of water, enough to cover the entire state of California in 14 inches of water. The lake is also so deep that the bottom has never been fully explored. Some areas plunge over 1,600 feet down, creating an underwater wilderness that remains largely mysterious. 36. California's giant sequoias are the largest living things on Earth. These massive trees can live over 3,000 years and grow to heights exceeding 300 feet. A single tree can weigh as much as 10 blue whales combined. General Sherman, the largest known living tree, contains enough wood to build 40 average-sized houses. Making next to these giants makes humans feel like ants. Most people never realize how fragile our relationship with nature really is until it's too late. If you want to understand the world's hidden dangers and wonders before they affect you personally, subscribe now. If you're choosing to remain uninformed, explain your reasoning in the comments why you prefer to stay in the dark. 35. San Francisco moves several inches every year. The entire San Francisco Bay Area is slowly sliding northwest along the San Andreas Fault at about 2 inches annually. Over millions of years, this movement will eventually carry San Francisco past San Jose. The city is literally taking a slow-motion road trip towards Alaska, with residents completely unaware of their geological journey. 34. California's homeless population exceeds the entire population of Wyoming. With over 170,000 homeless individuals, California's street population is larger than the total population of several entire states. This crisis represents a humanitarian emergency hiding in plain sight, challenging the state's image as a land of opportunity and prosperity. 33. California produces 99% of America's almonds. The California Central Valley has become the world's almond capital, producing over 2 billion pounds annually. This agricultural dominance comes with a dark side. It takes 1 gallon of water to grow a single almond. During droughts, this water-intensive crop becomes controversial as swimming pools dry up while almond trees continue receiving irrigation. 32. There's a real-life ghost town with a tragic backstory. Bodie, California was once a booming gold mining town with 10,000 residents. Today, it's a perfectly preserved ghost town where buildings stand exactly as they were abandoned. Visitors report strange phenomena, including phantom piano music and ghostly figures walking the empty streets. The town maintains an eerie curse that locals claim affects anyone who steals artifacts. 31. California invented the fortune cookie. Despite being associated with Chinese cuisine, fortune cookies were actually invented in San Francisco by Japanese immigrants in the early 1900s. The cookies have no connection to traditional Chinese culture whatsoever. This culinary misconception has spread worldwide, creating a false cultural tradition that most people accept without question. 29. Alcatraz was considered escape-proof until 3 men proved otherwise. On June 11, 1962, inmates Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers disappeared from the infamous island prison. Despite extensive searches, they were never found. The FBI officially closed the case in 1979, but the mystery continues to haunt investigators. Some believe the men survived and lived free lives under assumed identities. 28. California's drought cycles can last decades. Paleoclimatologists have discovered evidence of droughts lasting over 200 years in California's past. Tree ring data reveals mega-droughts that make current water shortages seem minor by comparison. These natural climate patterns suggest that California's current population and agricultural demands may be unsustainable during future extended dry periods. 28. The Golden Gate Bridge was designed to sway 58 feet. Engineers built flexibility into the famous bridge to handle extreme weather conditions and seismic activity. During high winds, the bridge can move dramatically from side to side, terrifying drivers who feel the roadway shifting beneath them. This intentional movement prevents catastrophic structural failure, but creates an unnerving driving experience. 27. California has a town named Russon-Ready that actually seceded from the United States. In 1850, this small mining town declared independence and formed the Republic of Rough and Ready. The secession lasted only 3 months before residents realized they couldn't celebrate the 4th of July as foreigners. The town rejoined America in time for Independence Day festivities, making it possibly the shortest-lived republic in history. 26. Disneyland's underground tunnel system is larger than many subway networks. Beneath the happiest place on Earth lies a complex network of service tunnels called utilidors that allow employees to move unseen throughout the park. These passages include break rooms, cafeterias, and costume storage areas that maintain the Disney magic by keeping behind-the-scenes operations completely hidden from guests. 25. California's wine country produces more wine than Australia. The state's vineyards generate over 85% of American wine production, creating an industry worth billions of dollars annually. Napa Valley alone produces wines that compete with the finest European vintages. This agricultural success story transformed former cattle ranches into some of the world's most valuable farmland. The wine industry's massive success reveals how quickly California can transform entire landscapes and economies, but most people remain completely unaware of the environmental costs and social changes these transformations create. Subscribe to stay informed about the hidden impacts reshaping our world. If you're intentionally avoiding this information, comment and tell me why you prefer not to know. 24. Los Angeles has more museums than any other city in the world. While known for entertainment, LA actually houses over 100 museums, covering everything from contemporary art to natural history. The city's cultural institutions rival those of Paris, New York, and London. This intellectual richness often gets overshadowed by Hollywood's glitzy reputation, creating a false impression of LA as culturally shallow. 23. California's redwood trees can live over 2,000 years. These ancient giants were already mature when the Roman Empire fell. Walking through old-growth redwood forests feels like entering a natural cathedral where silence and majesty create a spiritual experience. Some of these trees contain enough wood to build hundreds of houses, yet they've been protected from logging through intense environmental activism. 22. The state has a lake that's literally toxic to touch. Mono Lake's alkaline waters are so caustic they can cause chemical burns on human skin. Despite this toxicity, the lake supports unique ecosystems, including bizarre tufa towers, limestone spires that rise from the water like alien monuments. The lake's harsh environment offers a glimpse of what early Earth might have looked like. 21. Silicon Valley was originally covered in fruit orchards. Before becoming the world's technology capital, the Santa Clara Valley was known as the Valley of Heart's Delight for its abundant apricot, cherry, and plum orchards. The transformation from agricultural paradise to concrete tech campus happened in less than 50 years, erasing a way of life that had existed for generations. 20. California has a highway that crosses itself. The Judge Harry Pregerson Interchange in Los Angeles is so complex that Interstate 405 literally crosses over itself multiple times. This engineering marvel handles over 500,000 vehicles daily, while creating visual confusion that can disorient even experienced drivers. The interchange represents both human ingenuity and the madness of urban sprawl. 19. California produces more marijuana than Colombia. California's legal cannabis industry generates billions in tax revenue while employing hundreds of thousands of workers. This agricultural revolution transformed former black market operations into legitimate businesses practically overnight. The social and economic changes have been so rapid that many communities are still adjusting to their new reality. 18. California's Central Valley produces food for the entire world. This 400-mile-long agricultural region feeds not just America, but exports produce globally. During World War II, the valley's output helped prevent famine in allied nations. The region's fertility is so legendary that some refer to it as America's Garden of Eden, yet few people outside California realize its global importance. 17. There's a California city where it's illegal to wear high heels. Carmel by the Sea requires permits for wearing high-heeled shoes due to the city's uneven sidewalks and rustic charm. Former Mayor Clint Eastwood helped establish many of the town's quirky regulations. This unusual law reflects California's blend of environmental consciousness and eccentric governance that can seem surreal to outsiders. 16. The La Brea tar pits contain fossils from over 50,000 years ago. These natural asphalt deposits in the middle of Los Angeles have preserved an incredible record of Ice Age life. Scientists have discovered everything from saber-toothed cats to dire wolves perfectly preserved in the sticky black goo. It's like having a time machine in the heart of a modern metropolis. 15. California's fault lines create natural hot springs throughout the state. Geothermal activity along earthquake faults produces hundreds of natural hot springs that have been used for healing and relaxation for centuries. Native Americans considered many of these sites sacred, believing the waters possessed supernatural healing powers. Modern visitors often report feeling spiritually renewed after soaking in these geological wonders. 14. The state's water system moves water uphill for hundreds of miles. California's aqueduct includes massive pumping stations that literally push water from Northern California to Southern California. This engineering feat consumes enormous amounts of electricity while making life possible in naturally arid regions. The system represents both human ingenuity and environmental hubris. People often don't realize how much our modern lifestyle depends on massive engineering projects that could fail catastrophically. If you want to understand the hidden vulnerabilities in our infrastructure before they become personal crises, subscribe now. If you're consciously choosing to remain unaware of these risks, explain your reasoning in the comments. 23. Hollywood Boulevard's Walk of Fame includes stars for fictional characters. Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, and other animated characters have received stars alongside real celebrities. This blending of reality and fantasy reflects Hollywood's unique relationship with truth and illusion. The inclusion of fictional characters as honored celebrities seems absurd until you realize how much these imaginary beings have influenced human culture. 12. California's almond industry requires renting 50 billion bees annually. Commercial beekeepers transport hives from across America to California each spring to pollinate almond orchards. This massive bee migration represents one of the largest annual movements of livestock in human history. Without this army of rented insects, California's almond industry would collapse within a single season.
11. California has a city that's completely underground. Forestier Underground Gardens in Fresno consists of an entire underground city hand-carved by one man over 40 years. Baldassare Forestier created subterranean rooms, courtyards, and gardens to escape California's brutal summer heat. His underground maze includes fruit trees growing in rooms carved from solid hardpan, defying conventional agriculture. 10. California's prison system houses more people than some entire cities. The state's correctional facilities contain over 100,000 inmates, more than the population of cities like Santa Barbara or Burbank. This massive incarceration rate reflects deeper social issues that many Californians prefer to ignore. 9. There's a California beach where the sand literally glows in the dark. Certain beaches in California experience bioluminescence when microscopic organisms called dinoflagellates wash ashore. These tiny creatures emit blue light when disturbed, creating a magical effect that looks like walking on liquid starlight. The phenomenon is unpredictable and ephemeral, making each occurrence feel like witnessing a miracle. 8. The state's tech industry consumes more electricity than entire countries. Silicon Valley's data centers and tech companies use more power annually than nations like Portugal or Greece. This massive electricity consumption drives demand for electricity that often comes from fossil fuels, despite California's environmental reputation. The digital revolution has created an environmental impact that remains largely invisible to consumers. 7. California has a lake that appears and disappears seasonally. Lake Almanor can completely vanish during dry years, leaving behind a dusty basin where boats once sailed. Local resident Sarah Chen describes watching her lakefront property transform into desert wasteland as water levels dropped 40 feet in a single season.
These dramatic changes create psychological stress for communities whose identities revolve around water that may not return. 6. The state's agriculture depends entirely on exploiting underground water. California farmers pump groundwater at unsustainable rates, essentially mining fossil water that took thousands of years to accumulate. This practice is causing land subsidence and permanent aquifer damage. Scientists warn that current agricultural practices are borrowed against future generations, who will inherit depleted water resources. Before we reach the final mind-bending facts, remember that these environmental and social challenges will affect everyone eventually. Subscribe to stay ahead of the changes that will reshape how we live. If you're choosing to ignore these warnings, comment and explain why you think remaining uninformed protects you. 5. Los Angeles sits on top of thousands of active oil wells. The city has over 5,000 active oil drilling sites hidden throughout residential neighborhoods. Many residents live within yards of pumping operations disguised as office buildings or hidden behind decorative walls. This urban oil extraction creates health risks that disproportionately affect low-income communities who lack political power to resist industrial encroachment. 4. California's marijuana legalization created a massive illegal market. Despite legal cannabis sales, the black market actually expanded after legalization due to high taxes and complex regulations. Illegal grows now operate openly in remote areas, causing environmental destruction through pesticide use and water diversion. The policy intended to eliminate criminal enterprises instead created new forms of ecological crime. 3. The state contains a desert that's below sea level and regularly floods. Death Valley sits 282 feet below sea level, yet flash floods regularly transform this desert into temporary lakes. When rare rainstorms hit, the valley floor becomes an inland sea that can last for months. These floods create spectacular wildflower blooms visible from space, turning America's driest desert into a temporary Garden of Eden. 2. Silicon Valley's success is built on military weapons research. The technology companies that created the internet, smartphones, and social media all emerged from Pentagon-funded research projects. GPS, touchscreens, and voice recognition technology were originally developed for warfare before being commercialized. The digital revolution that defines modern life grew directly from humanity's desire to create more efficient killing machines. 1. California is literally breaking apart and moving toward Alaska.
The San Andreas Fault System is slowly tearing California into pieces, with different sections moving in different directions. Los Angeles and San Francisco are approaching each other at 2 inches per year, while Western California slides northwestward toward Alaska. In 10 million years, California's coastline will look completely different, making today's geography a temporary arrangement in geological time. California isn't the sunny paradise of Hollywood dreams. It's a land of contradictions, where natural beauty masks environmental crisis, technological innovation emerges from military research, and the very ground beneath your feet moves relentlessly toward an uncertain future. These 50 facts reveal a state that's simultaneously inspiring and terrifying, progressive and destructive, magical and deeply troubled. Which fact shocked you the most? Did learning about California's hidden realities change how you think about progress and paradise? Share your thoughts in the comments, because understanding these contradictions helps us navigate the complex world we're all creating together. And if you're hungry for more hidden truths about America's most fascinating places, check out the video I'm recommending next about the dark secrets of America's national parks.